Please welcome Dylan Buckley.
Second time in 2 days.
What's going on, you two?
We're best mates.
Oh, no.
Hey,
we'll
what
get to that
about
next.
what about getting cut short? By the way, 8 seasons, not 6.
8 seasons.
I count them all.
no.
39 games at Carlton, and then 2 at the Giants. 2 good ones.
Two great ones.
2 games.
Now, I didn't know, looking at the Carlton draft, we, of course, had Isaac Smith in.
We did.
Koch, we knew was. I didn't know Lordo was.
No, that's what I just said.
It's just snuck under the rug. He's too old to play footy.
No.
Lordo.
Oh, he'd like the money. No, he's pretty fit. He's still playing cricket,
Fact.
Jim. Played in a grand
There's
final.
a difference between playing cricket and. I mean, Dyl just played.
No, but if you're a bit older, you can sit in the goal square. He'll kick some goals.
Oh, remember they used to that Legends game?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
He used to take it very seriously.
Anyway.
Richie Vandenberg.
Well, and just it used to just drift off his output in
Yes.
that game, Lordo.
But we got Dills here anyway.
So Dills is a current star. I like that. We've
you're
got someone
fit.
who's just played.
What are you going to bring to a club,
I
Dills?
wouldn't say I'm fit, but I did say this actually to Koch on the weekend, and I think that you win flags, and well, you don't, but you win flags, and they
Did
I
you
said-
say?
No, sorry.
Yeah, he
Sorry.
did. He said you don't,
I said,
which is true.
I said to
Little
Koch,
turd.
I said to Koch, mate, if I ran around with Dustin Martin and Jack Reward, I probably would have ran around a few too. So I had Dennis Armfield. We'll talk
Dennis.
about that today.
Yes.
Who
You
else
don't
do you
win.
have?
Who else? Kate Simpson. He was
Oh,
a good player.
good player. Yeah.
Strapped it on with Juddy in the VFL once or twice.
Did you?
Yeah.
Just in the VFL.
Just in the VFL. So
Yeah.
I think they've run out of players to actually do the Carlton draft, but I'm happy to be there.
But also you bring people through the gate. That's how you'll get them there. You'll get a big crowd there.
Yeah, it'll be good. So we've got the whole pod community, obviously, hopefully coming down, and I don't know where I'm playing yet. I'm
About
very
to say,
excited.
where are you going to play?
Yeah, don't know yet. The draft is obviously
Coming
coming
up.
up.
Would you
so-
rather it be local rather than you don't want to go too far into the country?
I'm a Ballarat boy.
Right.
Yeah, born in Ballarat. I only lived there for a few years, but I feel like I am entrenched in the rural community, so I wouldn't mind getting out there.
Ballarat, Jimmy down at Ballarat playing and coaching down there, was he?
Yeah, the North Ballarat
Yeah.
for a few years, so that's where we were born.
Wow. But no, this will be good. You'll be fit. You'll be fine. You'll be running around, and you'll bring them all in. They'll have a good crowd. Then and the idea is to have a good night after it too. A nice little sporty for them.
100%. That's what it's all about. And I think that we've seen with COVID and everything that's happening in footy these days, how special community footy is for towns. It's like going to the church on the weekends. And if we can go and help out any footy club that's gone through a bit of a tough time, whether they haven't won a game or struggling financially, it's going to be a good fun.
So the bar been set by, amazingly for us, Bernie Vince.
Yes.
Kicked 8.
Yes.
8 as an on-baller.
8 goals, 6 or something.
So, Dyl, that's a high bar to get over.
As long as I think Kane Corns had 2 touches. So I'm sort of looking at both bars.
Right.
If I can get over 2, I'm happy.
And didn't Bucks do his hammy in
Yeah,
the
he did,
warm-up
he did.
or the groin?
So he basically
So
didn't play at all.
You should go past him, Dylan Buckley, past Nathan Buckley.
We'd hope so.
No, it's good.
Now, what about the Giants? Where are you,
Yeah.
allegiance? You're blue because of your old man, obviously, and the family bit, or do you look at the Giants and think, "Oh, I don't mind what they're up to"?
Yeah, jumped on them.
Commercially, it's Carlton's,
Yeah.
commanding a few more dollars. But I think I do love the Giants. It's a special part of my heart. And you look at players like Toby Green. I want a player called Brent Daniels. I think he's one of the most talented players in the league. If he can get his body right and we put it together, he is a genuine star. And then you look at guys like Callum Brown too, who's come from Ireland and absolutely he's the fittest bloke I've ever seen. So I think the sky's the limit for them this year. I think Carlton obviously had a really big year last year, but playing in Melbourne, it's tough with the media, and sometimes that does play a bit of a role on them. But I think living up in Sydney, the Giants are living in the eastern suburbs now too, so they're having a lot of fun up there and just sliding under the radar.
Well, we discussed this yesterday, didn't we? That Bill discovered Sam Taylor after he was an All-Australian.
Yeah.
I've been following him for a while.
Just said, I'm telling you, boys,
All right.
this bloke can play after he was an All-Australian.
Connor Iden, he's
Connor
a good
Iden.
player.
He's from Drysdale.
He's a Geelong boy.
Yeah, he's a Geelong boy.
Played at the Falcons with my boy Oscar.
There you go.
Yeah.
He's a good player.
Connor pick 61.
Pick 61.
That's a good pick.
There you go.
All
I
right,
like
look,
what they're doing,
take
and they're
a
good
break.
to watch.
Oh,
hello, Fat's thrown to a break.
Well, I want to know about the podcast you had
Podcast.
with himself yesterday, the
That's it.
entitled one, and how much he spoke about.
What it's done is
Himself.
tripled his audience, and his audience is already extensive.
It's not out yet, Dick.
More with Dyl Buckley next on the Rush Hour, Triple M.
Oh, you're in a very special club too, Dills. first kick, first goal club.
It is, every time someone says that, I feel like you're more common to do it than not. Do you feel like every second player kicks their first goal with their first kick?
Bill?
Well, Fat didn't.
Well, no, I didn't. So I'd just go with it, Dils, and say, yes, that's
it was,
right, Fat.
it was fantastic.
Yeah, just go with it,
Started
Dils.
with a high and it just slowly went down from there.
Now tell us, the podcast with yourself and
Dylan Friends.
Dylan Friends, and he's not really a friend, I wouldn't have thought, but how did Jim go? What did you find out?
Oh, he's a friend now, I'd hope to say. But no,
Yes.
Jim was incredible, extremely generous with his time. I know we give him stick, but he was an incredible contributor to the show and amazing story, really, what he's done. And we couldn't.
What's amazing?
Well, we couldn't fit it in one episode, but it was you need sort of a 4-part
So
series. but-
getting kicked out of school.
Well, he's obviously his cricketing journey, and then he's gone to do what he's done in the media, his time at North Melbourne, saving the club.
I'll tell you what it was, Fat.
Yes.
It was refreshing.
Yes.
This is what it was. You need to listen to this too.
Yeah, righto.
Have some respect.
It was refreshing to hear
Yeah.
some respect
Right.
coming the other way out of a microphone. As I sat there and Dills was being very polite, I
Yeah.
thought, I haven't had any of this out of you two fat asses
Yeah.
for, 8 years with him and 15 with you.
Well, you earn respect.
Yeah.
You earn it.
He hasn't
You
earned
haven't.
it.
No, he hasn't yet. Wish we had Spud's glass eye when this
Yeah.
was on. But now tell us, never gets anything wrong. Did that come through?
No, I think he was. There was some good story. He spoke about you a lot and your relationship. He loves you and all your special times.
Did he
together.
say that?
No, it's
Not
not really,
directly,
not
but it
at
was
all.
sort of-
Didn't actually say that. But we were talking. I tell you what, we
Does
were
he love
doing.
me or Lisa Moore? did
We
he
were
say?
talking about the way that podcasting's heading, especially out of the States, where one of our mutual favourites, Dax Shepard, and his podcast is called The Armchair Experts, funnily enough. And they have it's just a meandering conversation with these huge names out of
Yeah.
Hollywood that goes for sort of an hour and a half. So if you're having a long drive, it chews up a lot of time. And
Do they cut
it's
it up or
very
they just
easy to listen to.
just let it go?
Just let it go.
Let it go.
Anyway, Dill said to me, quite nicely, he said to me, how good would that be if, you and Bill could do something, that went like that for an hour? I said, Bill wouldn't last an hour and a half. He can't think beyond
He's
20
battling
minutes.
after 9 minutes.
No,
now.
exactly.
Do you know what would be
we're
the
9
best,
minutes
though?
into this, and Fat, look, he's already
He's
run
done,
out of
yeah.
ideas. Look at him.
Do you know how good it'd be if you did that model whereby with that Smartless show they bring in a guest and
Yes.
they don't say who it is? Could you imagine how many he'd actually
Oh, no.
know?
No,
It'd be
you-
unbelievable. So
exactly.
they bring in a guest.
Oh, and you got to guess who
You
it
gotta,
is.
well, they come into the studio, you chat about them, but you can't say whether you know them or not. So you've got to sort of bluff your way through it.
How would you go with that, Fat?
How does it work? So they bring in a guest, right?
So
So I see him,
so
and I
Jim
know
will
who
bring
it
in
is.
but if you don't know,
Oh, if I
you've
don't
just
know.
got to try and go
Work
with it.
out who it is.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be Bluey. He hadn't got many
Yeah.
friends. It'd be Bluey or Sam or you got any other friends?
You would go. I reckon
Oh,
you
your
could
brother?
last 15 minutes. And then at the end of that, Bill would be looking at me with his terror in his eyes going, I haven't got any more questions.
Nothing.
I'm now done.
Yeah.
Which, Rabs, we see all the
All the
time.
time.
Yeah. In fact, we famously had Daniel Howe from Hawthorn in. Remember that? Was Daniel Howe? I think it was.
Yeah.
And we were pre-recording it, Dill, and we were in this exact scenario. And Fat it was back end of the season. He'd had enough. Anyway, Daniel Howe came in, and let's have a listen.
What do you reckon the population of Rennie is
wouldn't
in
have
the
a clue, Bill.
2016 census? 43.
43.
43 people.
That's being generous.
Yeah, do you know them? You'd know them all. You and Bart walk down the street. G'day. Hey, Dan. G'day, Bart. G'day, Bart. Bart, hey?
Yeah, probably know most of them.
Hey, you would. No doubt about that. Ah.
He just completely
We ran
ran out of gas and just dropped out at half. And Daniel Howe thought we were live, so his eyes have literally popped out of his head.
Oh, the worst one was when I was with the other station down there in Geelong, and they brought in
K-Rock, lock it on the rock.
yeah,
Lock It on the Rock?
Lock It on the Rock. And they were over at Port Adelaide, their home ground, and they brought in a guest, but the Port Adelaide bloke just brought him straight into the chair. And I'm looking at me, he's going, I don't fucking know. So I got the book, the Bible, I'm going through every player, right? Broadbeat, no. I'm going through them all. And I had no idea who it was. And luckily somebody on the back goes, I think it's whoever it was. And, oh, geez, we're shitting ourselves. There's nothing worse. Who's been your best interview?
Oh, best interview. Let me think.
Other than James.
Besides James.
Who you really enjoyed? And
How long's it been going? So people need to listen to this, by the
Yes.
way, because it's absolutely brilliant. Dyl and Friends, where you get your
It's
best
got a whole
podcasting.
company called Producy.
No, it is, and that's going fine too. But who have you loved chatting to?
Well, it's been going for about 3 years now. So since I finished, I was doing it while I was playing at the Giants. Wasn't working out too well. So there's a bit of a transition plan there. But I'd have to say my favourite ones of note that, the audience would love. Like, we had Nathan Buckley on, who was a star. Like, the way he sort of transitioned himself from 2018 Premiership, leaving Collingwood into who he is now, what he's doing. It's pretty cool.
What do you go? Very serious, and then found himself.
Yeah, just like a bit of fun, larrikin, just trying to find himself, not pretending to know what he doesn't, and he's really honest with where he's at. Damien Hardwick as well, had him when he left the Tigers.
Yeah.
Didn't think he'd come in because we had it sort of booked, cancelled it. He's like, we're still on. Throughout that chat, he ended up saying that he's keen to get back into coaching and then went to Gold Coast. So, I don't know. We're not there for news breaking, but we just have long-form chats, whatever they want to talk about they can, and they're two of the ones that were pretty special.
Of course, the son of the great Jimmy Buckley, 3 premierships at the Blue Baggers back in the good old days.
Late 70s.
Do you remember any of that? No.
I wasn't born around then. Twinkle in the eye. Yeah.
But how is Jimmy? Because everyone, Carlton supporters and everyone, they know Jimmy Buckley and they love Jimmy Buckley.
Mate, he's well. He's doing the same as always. I keep thinking sometimes he's going to change, but he doesn't. And sometimes I feel like I'm his dad, to be completely honest. But no, he's great, mate. He's such an infectious character. Off the piss. Extremely, extremely proud of him. He's done a great job. And if you ever thought that anyone could sort of be able to turn their life around and get off the piss, I wouldn't have thought it would be him, to be completely honest. But I know he's found a sort of new passion in helping other people in that sense too. And couldn't be more proud of him.
Good on him.
That era of the Blues.
Oh, mate, the best.
Rod Ashman, the Dom.
Yeah,
Dominator.
McClure.
Ken Hunter. They're superstars. And back in the day, Dyl, before you were born, had this show called The Winners. And in the West where I grew up, you used to set your clock for 6 o'clock on a Sunday on the ABC.
Yeah.
And every week the Blues were on because they were the dominant force back in the day. And they had superstars everywhere. Everywhere.
Some of the stories, and Bill, I'm sure you've got the same ones, but some of the stories of what they used to get up to is genuinely
not as good.
Incredible.
Geelong ones.
Not as good.
Well, the Prime Minister was a mad Carlton fan.
Yeah, he was.
They used
Malcolm
to have
Fraser.
No, Malcolm Fraser. Menzies back in the 60s. Mate, Malcolm Fraser. And they'd go up there to the, what's it called, Jim?
Yeah.
The White House.
Yep.
The White House.
Yeah.
Kirribilli?
Kirribilli. And they'd have dinner there and all that. And
Oh, mate. He was telling me the other day about this story where they went to London to, the paint. There's a story where he painted the ground and it ended up staying on there for 3 years. Then they, the Clarko incident.
Oh, yeah.
Then after that, he he somehow met David Carradine, who's, the guy from Kill Bill.
Yep.
You guys know who he is.
Absolutely.
They ended up getting a key to his house, going to LA. Like, they end up becoming somewhat friends. I don't know, just the shit he says. I'm like, how does this happen to anyone?
But they were.
It just happens.
In fact, they were rock stars, weren't they?
Oh, mate.
That Carlton side owned Melbourne.
Who
They
had the
owned
girlfriend?
joint.
Who had the girlfriend and took her up there and
Oh, I
she
don't
broke
know.
her leg down the steps?
Yeah, that was...
Alex Marcoux.
Well, one of them, I'm not sure.
Was it Alex Marcoux?
I'm not sure.
Spiro Corcomelis.
She broke her leg
Big Tats Lotto.
going down the stairs.
Oh, they were the best.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Great.
Hey, Dyl, good luck with everything, mate. Carlton Draft is going to be fantastic for you. And Dyl and Friends, check it out on the podcast. It is brilliant.
Thanks,
Dyl
boys.
Buckley on the Rush Hour.